Morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know what time it is where you are, but right now it is time for more insight. As you can see, I have this big smile on my face. We're going to get into it. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, make sure you do all those things. Let me hurry up and get through this bio. Shari Nycole is a journalist, a media personality, and a cultural force who cuts through the noise with precision. I've been so excited to do this for you. From
Wow, I'm not supposed to cut in, but goodness gracious, that first
yeah,
sentence, I'm like,
listen, I've been cooking on this. Uh,
continue.
From shaping stories with essence to building her reputation in radio and television, she's carved a lane where authenticity and excellence, they don't just meet, but they collide. She built Sister Circle Live, co-executive produced Power Star Live, launched her own company, and commands stages as a content creator, a host, a producer, radio personality, but most of all, an unapologetic voice for Black women in sports. She refuses to soften the edge of truth, being bold, clear, unflinching. She is fearless on issues that we're going to talk about today, like free speech and mental health. Shari is equally passionately about celebrating culture, from the rise of women's sports to the power of gospel and entertainment. Her fitness journey mirrors her professional grind, disciplined, intentional, and relentless. Shari Nycole isn't waiting on the moment. She's shaping it. She's making it. She's amplifying it and making sure that she leaves an imprint, and she is leaving no crumbs. Welcome, my friend, my guest. Shari Nycole is in the building.
Wow, that is the most profound, polished, precise, beautiful intro I've ever received, Chris. So I want to thank you and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to come onto your platform and share time and space and energy with you. I know we've been going back and forth for quite some time to make this happen, but God's timing is divine. So thank you. Congratulations on all the great work you're doing. And I'm very picky about podcasts that I jump on, and I was like, nah, I got to go on Chris's show. So thank you so much.
Please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad. I can't stop smiling. I haven't blushed this hard since the first date with my wife. Like, because there's so much here, there's so much history, and there's so much that has happened in your life, in my life as well, but more specifically your life, because we did work together on a show. I helped produce that show, and just to see from where that show ended to where you are now, the way that you've maneuvered, the way you've been able to, like I said, cut through precision in different lanes has been amazing. I remember when the Essence story dropped with Lamar Jackson. Shouts out to you, because Lamar don't talk to everybody.
He's
Outside
so
of our,
nice. I love him.
won't talk to everybody. So kudos to you for that.
I appreciate that, Chris. Interesting how that came about. Shout out to Nandi Howard, who's the VP of content over at Essence, and trusting me with the opportunity. And she reached out. She said, "Hey, Lamar Jackson's team just reached out. He wants to do a sit down." And I'm like, "Lamar Jackson, what?" And so, absolutely wanted to go for it. Also, want to shout out my friend Ali Ahmad, who is the leader of the City Unlimited, which was the production company that made this thing come together and come to life aesthetically. So we got together and we said this is a big moment for Lamar, for Essence, and my whole thing was I just wanted him to be able to feel comfortable being himself, and I was so intrigued with his persona, not only obviously on the field but off of it. He's a dynamic, layered human being who really has a heart to serve. And I hope that as people continue to really enjoy that interview, that they'll come to understand that he really is a servant and a great guy. So it was an absolute honor to sit down with him.
Then from there, you interviewed Odessa Jenkins. And
Yeah.
let me tell you,
I
her
love
interview,
her.
it propelled me to become a fan of the WNFC. And since that
Really?
time, I've interviewed 4 athletes from the WNFC. So shouts out to you again, because that inspired me to go a little bit deeper and see like the stories of the players.
What, you know what's funny, Chris? Shout out to OJ. She's an amazing human being with, again, a heart for service, and also, driving a car in a lane where many people would say she didn't have any rights to be in. And so everything that she's been able to do with the league has been incredible. But it's interesting hearing you talk because, when you're doing what you do, and in your mind sometimes and in your heart even, I know I can at least speak for myself, you don't always feel like you're you're where you're supposed to be. You know, I've had this feeling of being behind for many years, most of my career, actually, if I can speak transparently. And so when you're doing what you're doing, it's just a part of the work. You just, you know, you're intrigued by people's stories. You want to tell them, you want to get to know them, but you don't necessarily consider what's on the other side of when it's told, right? I'm not thinking, you know, man, I wonder how many people are going to become fans of the WNFC when this comes out. I wonder how many people are going to lock in with Odessa Jenkins and want to hear more about her when they see this. I'm thinking, okay, this is an amazing human being. I get a chance to talk to her. I get a chance to share her story, and hopefully other people can check it out. I don't, even though I dream and aspire and work passionately to inspire, I don't always calculate what the manifestation looks like on the other end of the work. And so I appreciate you, you know, noting that and reminding me and really level setting me in the season of my life in particular that the work matters, because it really does. But people like OJ are the reason why Essence Black Women in Sports exists. And the hope, even in the work that we do with that franchise, is to continue to amplify the stories of Black women, you know, in and outside of competition, who are really pushing the sports world forward.
Oh, that's amazing. And I'm glad to hear that you say that. Because I know that you said that in this time and period in your life, that this is coming at a pivotal moment. And
Yeah.
speaking about that pivotal moment, with the recent news of Jimmy Kimmel, journalism is essentially under attack. Freedom of speech is under attack. I want to know, how are you holding up mentally and emotionally in a time where it feels, not even feels, where free speech is being under attack?
Yeah, I'm pissed off. I'm upset. I'm sad. I'm frustrated. You know, I said this on the air earlier today. I found myself in recent months really tiptoeing around the things that I have said so freely on air. And again, I'm not a reckless journalist. I'm not somebody who gets on air, whether it's in front of a camera or behind the microphone, and just spews ridiculous rhetoric. But I'm also somebody who firmly believes in standing for something. And I just feel like in this time, standing for something, it breeds a certain level of consequence we haven't necessarily seen in many years past. And so it's very jarring. It's upsetting. You know, I am a fan of Jimmy Kimmel's work, and I also think about all of those who work on his show, the writers, the producers, everybody, the directors who come to work every day, the camera ops to put this show together, who went to bed and woke up and they don't have a job today.
Yes.
And that part for me is very angering. And then to know that on the other side of it, the consequence isn't just an indefinite suspension of the show, but now he's being asked to apologize to Charlie Kirk's family. He's also been asked to put a significant amount of money per donation into the hands of the Turning Point organization, which also to me, it's just a level of disgusting that I personally haven't experienced in my professional life, and haven't been impacted by as hard in quite some time. I'm really trying to sit with it. And even, you know, as we're talking, and I'm trying to be mindful of my tone when I'm talking to you, because I do feel down today. And talking to you has brought me up, but it's been extremely hard to digest the fact that even what we're saying right now could be turned in ways where we're penalized for it. And we talk about free speech, but I said on the air today, let's just throw that out, throw that out of the window, because we're in a time now where it's either been used as a weapon or a means to justify agendas. And
Yes.
in that respect, I am completely taken aback. And it makes it so difficult for people like you and I to do the work that we do. Now, we have to do the work that we do, and we pray that God covers us and provides provision for the work that we're doing. And we do it with integrity. But at the same time, even in integrity, the risk is higher oftentimes right now in this season than the reward. And so fear creeps in a little bit. I find myself holding back, but trying to be politically correct. But then my soul says, no, say what you mean what you say. So there's an inward struggle, but overall, I am sad. I am very upset. I am pissed off. This is not good. And I'm not saying this to scare people, but we ought to be concerned. We ought to be educating ourselves around what's going on, not just related to free speech, but just politically. We have to become politically aware and astute. Now, we also have to manage that, because you take in too much of that, you can find yourself in depression and feeling melancholy for no reason and lashing out and being frustrated all the time. We don't want to be in that energy. But this should be a shout out to all of us that we are living in very interesting and perilous times, and we have to armor ourselves accordingly.
Ain't that word coming to life? um, I want to give you a special thank you because I myself woke up today. Usually I'm the strong friend. I'm the optimistic friend. I'm the positive friend. But in my group chat today, I just told them, right now I just feel overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like every time we try to take some type of steps forward, it's like a wind or tornado or hurricane or tsunami comes in and pushes us right back.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is just frustrating, especially when we're just out here trying to do good.
Mm-hmm.
Other thing that irritated me is, like you said, I started thinking about the staff. I started thinking about the entire team that's affected by this move. And then the other thing, Jimmy Kimmel has said a whole lot worse.
Yeah, that's what a lot of folks in my network have been saying too. They're trying to figure out what exactly led to this intensity of consequence, considering some of the other things that he's actually said over the course of several years.
And I will end this portion about Jimmy Kimmel and the situation by saying much prayers to him, the staff, everyone involved in that. I can't imagine how they feel. Like you said, to go to work and basically be like, hey, nah, it ain't happening today. Go home.
Yeah, yeah,
And not
yeah.
even knowing what the next step is. That's the other
Right,
thing. I don't even know what
right.
to do tomorrow. Do I go ahead and look for another job? Like, what do I do? Anyway, let's go to the mental health aspect of it.
Mhm.
What are you doing to pour back into yourself? Or what are some things that you're going to do to pour into yourself? Because right now we're running on fumes.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
usually I think I have to speak for both of us. We're looking at the cup like it's half empty, but it's also half full. You just got to
yeah.
pour something in there to make it full. So what are you doing to get that cup full?
Not enough. I am actually coming out of a real funk. It was about a month. I didn't feel like myself. And I think when you get to a place in your life where you do put your mental health first, or at least make it a priority, you sense when you're off. But you also sense when you're off and you can't get on again. And so that was the case for me for about a month. People that are close to me that are around me all the time felt it. And then I felt bad and guilty about that. And not from a victimization standpoint, but just your energy matters, and the energy you bring to other people matters. And to know that my energy was impacting them in some way was also further kind of pushing me into this hole of just sadness and disappointment and being overwhelmed and being very tired. And I was working a lot. I was traveling. Anybody that you can go back on my timeline, Instagram, see what I was doing. I was all over the place and doing great work and getting great opportunities, but at the same time, just exhausted. And I think for me, as someone who also prioritizes her health and wellness, trying to be mindful about what pushing my body to certain limits looks like now at 39 years old versus when I was 29, and understanding that that feels and looks different. Um, it's been a tough month and some change. I think I'm coming on the turning the corner on that, but it's been very difficult. And for me, taking some time off of work for a little while. Taking that PTO time is important. You don't get it back. So
Get it
I'll be
back.
taking some time off and diving into just some organization. I think when you get organized, you feel better. I did a deep cleaning of my house last week, and I woke up the next day and I just automatically felt better. And I don't have a dirty house, y'all, so don't do me like that. My house isn't dirty. Okay, I clean up all the time, but it was one of those deep cleans. Like you go crazy all day. You just cleaning and cleaning and wiping everything down, and I felt better. And so I'm going to use the time off to get organized in some other areas and work on a few other side projects that I had to kind of put on the back burner because I was too busy, and just try to revitalize myself creatively and catch up on some shows, sit in my beanbag chair, and go to the gym like I normally do. So the gym and Jesus are how I make it through on a regular daily basis. So that's probably the biggest thing. And then just spending time with loved ones. I have an opportunity to get back out to Chicago a couple times over the course of the next few weeks and see my family. So that always is helpful as well. And I have a great village of friends, family, I like to call them, here in Atlanta. So we try to get together as much as possible. So God is faithful, and even in those moments where I have a tough time, He reminds me that I'm blessed. And like you said, Chris, it's interesting you talk about that cup half empty, because when you're in situations where you feel down, you don't see it as half full, even though it very much is, and you run to the negative. And one of my best friends was telling me about this when I was going through this. She puts up with me more than anyone, because we essentially see each other just about every day. and we talk all day, and she really had to deal with me when I was going through this kind of mental valley. And she said, you're running to the negative. Like, there's so many different ways you can see something. You could have taken this turn and or this perspective, but you chose to go to the depths of the deficit. I'm just trying to be more mindful about being positive and journaling a little bit more. I started journaling again. I hadn't been journaling for a while, and
Love
just
it.
trying to even catch myself. If I'm being negative, catch myself. Even as before I got on the phone with you today, I was on work calls, and it just seemed like everybody was getting on my nerves. They weren't even doing anything. Like, it's just
Right.
you
It's something up, bro.
they just, right. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, girl, get yourself together. They're doing what they're doing the best they can. They're doing their job. It's not personal, but it was like everybody's getting on my nerves. Now I could have said, you know what? I'm not the biggest fan of this call, but I'm gonna listen in. Maybe I can learn something new, or maybe I can contribute something to the conversation. So it's just in those moments, doing a better job of turning to the positive, or as Pastor Darius Daniels mentioned in a recent sermon, he said, finding a blessing in the burden. And so I think the best way for me to take care of myself right now, more than anything else, is to really be conscientious about finding the blessing in the burdens. I am not doing a good job of that right now. So for those watching, and you're tussling as well, we're humans, it happens, but it's all about, okay, how do we retool, regroup, and ground ourselves and do better? So I'm just trying to that's my aim over the next, I would say, the rest of this year, finding the blessings and the burdens.
I want you to know that I don't have no Cash App for you, Lowe's. I'm gonna have to put your Cash App up, your Venmo, your PayPal, because you just dropped the work. I want to go back to one thing that you said about the
Yeah.
cleaning,
Mm-hmm.
because that's so necessary. And I feel
Yes.
like as you were doing that, you were doing some deep clean within yourself. But I
Yeah.
got to know, in the background, did you have some Anita Baker playing? Did you have the Isley playing? What was on that playlist?
You know what? Miranda Curtis has an incredible new album out. And I literally, and I'm going to pull it up while I'm talking to you because I want to make sure you guys grab it, and maybe she'll see this. Um, it's incredible. And it came out about a month and a half ago, and I play it almost every single day since then. Here
Come
it
on
is
here.
right
Let me
here.
add that to my stuff
Yes.
too.
Okay. So it's called Worship Restored.
Okay.
Miranda Curtis. It's a live album. It's called Worship Restored, and I have been playing that album just about every day. So I was really group moving and grooving with that for most of the time, and playing some of my favorite gospel artists as well. And that was pretty much the gist of it. No Anita Baker, not too much R&B, but more praise and worship songs, and trying to again just reset and center. And I think for me, that's just something that works when I'm busy. I could be working. I don't like to work in quiet. I just don't. I like music. I like noise. So if I'm kind of
Just keep
in
it
a
going.
particular season, yeah, if I'm in a particular season, you're gonna get gospel music, whether I'm in the office, if I'm doing the dishes, I'm cleaning the house, if I'm in the car, like that, if I'm in the gym, that's gonna be the gist of it. So, I gotta give Miranda Curtis a huge shout out. And for those of you churchy folks out there that quicken off almost nothing, don't listen to it in the car. You might have an accident. So don't listen to it when you're driving in your car.
Listen, we don't. I don't listen to Todd Tribbett in the gym, and
See?
I don't know, almost had to send Ty Tribbett a message like, "Hey, brother, you gotta relax on this stuff." But I
See?
know it's me. It's me. I gotta play it where I need to play. And shouts out to Miranda Curtis. The
Yes.
woman sings her face
It's
off.
unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Highly underrated. Highly
It's
underrated.
highly. And here's the thing, she has so much control and so much
Sure.
range, and she is
Mhm.
a pure worshiper. And I am just in awe. And it's funny, every time I comment on her page, like, oh my God, she's just like very responsive. And so I'm hoping in this season, as people enjoy and take in the work that she's doing, that she'll continue to be elevated, because she certainly deserves it. She's sown a lot into varied ministries, and she's just a gift. And she doesn't try, some people just overextend. They try too hard. They go beyond the capacities of where their gift is most potent, and they try to do something somebody else is doing or moving a trend. She's so solid and comfy and cozy and in her calling. It's a beautiful thing to witness.
Really is. Beyonce said, "Because I'm comfortable,"
Hey
and
man,
that's what she
comfortable in your
is.
skin, man.
She is so comfortable. She stays in that pocket,
Yeah.
and uh speaking about people who stay in their pocket, I have someone who's a little bit outside the pocket, who
Okay.
is doing the thing these days. As of today, her shoe dropped. It's sold out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you tried to buy it, but you can't buy it right now. And that's the Chicago Barbie, the Bayou Barbie. I don't know if she's gonna be in Chicago alone, so I'm gonna go with Bayou Barbie. Angel Reese. Shouts out to her for one, selling out all her shoes, putting Reebok back at the number 2 spot where they're trying to go. So shouts out to her. I want to know, because you are from Chicago, you probably know some people who know some people who know some people, or you just directly may know people. What's the pulse of Angel Reese in Chicago right now?
I think the post is people, Chicagoans love Angel Reese, and I think in many respects they can understand the level of displeasure she's had in certain respects when it comes to this season and the results of what we're seeing, which is a team that we saw last year, ton of talent, looked like they were going to be able to make a real push to be at the upper echelon of the league, and now we've seen them pretty much on the opposite end of that. It kind of doesn't make sense. It's a juxtaposition of sorts, and so I think a lot of them feel her frustrations were justified. I'm one of them. I think overall, again, people are very hard on Angel Reese, and I'm not trying to excuse any areas where she may still lack maturity, but she goes out every single day. She plays hard. She keeps a positive attitude. She has dealt with so much scrutiny, harassment, criticism, hatred, racism, sexism, and she still shows up and does a great job at doing her job. And so for me as a Black woman, considering the fact that she is another Black woman out here being excellent and moving in excellence and versatility, I cannot sit here and say anything but I wish her the absolute best. And I wish we would wrap our arms around Angel a little bit more. I have been a little bit unsettled by some of the commentary from current and former WNBA players about Angel. I think it's unfair. I think there's a way to critique her play um, without carrying over into commentary about her character that I feel like is unwarranted and unjust. And so I think that's where we miss out. And also, again, acknowledging or not the fact that this girl is what, 22, 23 years old. She has a lot of growing up to do. She's a kid, and when you think about how you were talking and acting at that age, God bless you. It's a miracle we're still here. So for me, as someone who still loves this game, who played this game at the highest level in college, I just want her to know that she's got somebody that's rooting for her. I'm from Chicago, so it makes it even more special. But even if I wasn't, I'm pulling for Angel, and there's times where I feel the need to hold her accountable in some areas, just as someone who, again, commentates on this game and covers it. But I just don't think that we have provided her with a certain level of support, care, security, and celebration that she really does deserve. The fact that this shoe came out and is sold out is a big deal. The fact that she took somebody saying "Me Bounds" and made it a brand, like,
Yes.
the girl is phenomenal. Her skin is so thick. She takes whatever you throw at her and she turns it to gold. And there's not enough common conversation around how special she is in that regard. Can you imagine every day you wake up, you've got millions of people on one side praising you, on the other side calling you all types of names and saying things to you that are totally evil, cruel, and disrespectful. And you get up every day, you go on the court, and you still get 5 million rebounds. You still put points on the board. You still lead your team in scoring on varied nights. You still come out with a shoe and sell it out in different brands. You still fly out on a private jet and go to the Met Gala, come back and turn up in the next game. You still go over here and over there and everywhere. You still go to the boxing matches, and she's all over the place. She is a global phenom. And
Yes.
I do not think we treat her as such. I'm not saying make excuses for behavior that may not be becoming of someone in her position. And that's also subjective. But what I'm saying is Angel deserves a lot more of our praise and support than she's getting. And by our, I'm meaning not just our community as in the Black community, but the sports community at large. But I also want to shout out players like Cheryl Swoops, who have continued to stand in the gap for Angel Reese and to continue to champion for her, hold her accountable, but also champion for her. And we all need to do the same. And I'm certainly one of those people who I hope when she looks back, if she does, on our coverage and even this conversation, she can say, okay, I got two people. I got Shari and Chris. They got my back. So that's how I feel about it. Leave her alone. If nothing, hashtag, we don't even use hashtags anymore, but leave
Her
her
alone.
alone.
Hey,
Stop
we part of
this.
the Reese's Pieces.
When I tell you. And I want some shoes too. We got to figure that out
Listen,
as
can I get a
well.
care package since they're all sold out?
Man,
Please.
that care package. I saw an influencer post it. It was huge. It was
She
amazing.
did it. That was Beyonce level
It was
care package.
amazing.
So for her and her team to put those packages together, for her team to even just hold her up, because I can't
Yeah.
imagine, like you said, being 22, 23 and getting the comments, getting the hatred, the vitriol that she gets. And the one moment that she speaks out, it may have said something that's controversial. It's about her team. And
Yeah.
and how she just wants to win. And I think that's what the essence of that conversation was. It was, I want to win, get some people around me that can win. And unfortunately, I understand why her teammates felt the way. However, like Deion Sanders said, I'm bringing my Louis with me. Chicago need to bring some Louis in, because right now they playing with some DTLR, with some city
Yeah.
gear.
Yeah.
And that's not shade to the players. That's, please don't get me wrong. That's not
It's
shade to
not.
the player, but there is a conversation to be had about a level of talent. And that level of talent right there is not in Chicago with the Sky. So overall question here, is it time for Angel Reese and Chicago Sky to part ways?
I think if they can't put the pieces in place, then yes, I would also kind of inch this conversation a bit further, because I had somewhat of this type of a conversation on the Shade Room a couple months ago, where I questioned if she was a man, would we be having this conversation? Because we've had top, and mind you, she's the leader of the team. We're not talking about somebody that's the sixth man that's coming off the bench. This is essentially her team. She's leading her team. We've had other team leads, males in particular, will just stick with basketball, that have had the same types of grievances, express them in the ways in which she has, and or worse, and they did not get nailed to a cross. But I digress. I think overall she should explore her options if the organization is not in a position to be able to put the right pieces in place. Clearly, the numbers don't lie, and they speak for themselves. And there's a lot of change that needs to happen with the Chicago Sky. The beautiful part about it is, anything is possible. And the city of Chicago is a beautiful place, and we know how to support our sports teams. Shout out to all those Bears fans. God bless you. So we know how to keep showing up. Is you don't have to worry about us, but she definitely. I mean, and some people may say it's a result of some impatience. She needs to be more patient, but I think you have to think about where they were last year versus
Find
where
the
they are
coach.
this year. I think it's tough, but for me, you have to explore a potential change. But it's like, I don't know the ins and outs, right? So I don't know what those conversations are like. I don't know how difficult it is for that staff to get those players to do what they need to do to win basketball games. They may be great coaches, but again, maybe the players in the system that they're working with are not conducive to them moving the needle forward in the wins column. And you have, Kennedy Carter, she's gone. You got to think about that too. She was a huge part of that franchise. Now, we don't know all the ins and outs of why she's not there anymore. Maybe it was just they were at a point, we can't have you here. So I can't speak to that. But again, you got to get pieces. And sometimes you can have a great coach and your pieces aren't so great. So I think the Sky have to be open to making legitimate adjustments. I think it would be their fault to allow an Angel Reese to walk out of the door, because she brings so much to the city on the basketball court and also off of it. And I would be remiss if I didn't note how many fans may not show up if she's not there. So I'm pulling for the Sky because I love my city, and I've been able to attend several games, and it's been I've had a great experience. And I think there's so much promise there, but they need to make some changes. And if they don't, I don't see the organization flourishing in the way that I know they can for quite some time. But I hope they make the necessary changes that they need to.
Absolutely. Totally agree. I'm right there on board with you. Exploring the options is the best answer.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's more than fair. And I mean that for both parties. It's
Mm-hmm.
for the options, because it could be a
Yes.
situation where, you know what, if we do right by Angel, we can trade her, get some valuable assets, and we can rebuild this thing.
Yeah.
While you're also appeasing Angel by getting her to a contending team. She's used to winning. She's won a
Yes.
champion.
Yes. Yes.
This isn't normal to her. She's
Right.
not used to
Right.
not being playing competitive basketball at a certain point of the year. So
Right.
moving on. today they announced Cole Defensive Player of the Year for the WNBA.
Yeah.
Do you agree with the Cole winners?
I think it's fine, but I'm not into Cole. I'm just not into that whole concept. Pick a winner. People work hard all season. Nobody's interested in sharing. Now, if you're in a situation where it's like track and field or it's swimming where there's a timer involved, if there's a sport where there is a timer, if there's a sport, where it's like, okay, they both cross at the same time, what you gonna do? They both hit the wall at the same time, what you gonna do? But overall, I am not a fan of anything. Pick one. So I am a bit disappointed, and I think at the end of the day, what the people didn't want to happen is they didn't want Asia to get MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, because sometimes people that's too much. I think that's what it really was about. But I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just throwing that out there. But I'm under the guise of, if somebody is great and better and excellent and at the top of their class in more than one place, in more than one class, in more than one school, so what? Shout out to them. Give them what they deserve.
Conspiracy theorist, but I do love theories of conspiracy. Hear me. I agree with you. I believe they didn't, because now you're putting Asia in a different conversation now. She's already in the conversation, but that conversation changes if she gets Defensive Player of the Year and MVP. So I guess it's safe to say that we're on the same page about who the MVP is for the WNBA this season.
Yes,
correct?
Yes. And if she's not MVP, I have a big problem. And now I am being a conspiracy theorist, because what she has done prior to that 50-point loss and post it is unbelievable. The Aces look like a totally different team. I was watching them the other night and I'm just like, they're clicking on all cylinders. They look so succinct. The way that they find her, the way that she's consistently making her presence known on both ends of the floor. There's no one better. There's no one better. There's no one better.
It's scary. I mean, it's looking so easy for Asia. Yeah. And not even just Asia, just the Aces themselves. Everyone is to themselves. If at the beginning of the season, everyone was just running around like a chicken with their head cut off.
Yep.
Deer in headlights, nobody knowing what's going on. But after that 50-point loss, this has been a run. It's up there with the 40-point streak that Kobe had. It's up there with the 30-point games that Jordan had. This is in that conversation. And I want to say that Asia Wilson, congratulations. Because they ought to just be mailing you the trophy right now.
They probably have. She's probably at her house right now. She just probably got told, don't tell us.
Absolutely. I will say, there's a part of me that feels for Fee, because she did have a great start to the season. Yeah. But it doesn't matter how you start. It's how you finish.
Yeah. And you got to look at also, again, how instrumental Asia has been in the Aces turning that really big corner. They had a lot of ground to cover to get to where they are now. You have to acknowledge what role she played in that. And so when you think about a most valuable player, not only does that for her extend to her team, but it extends to the league itself. There's nobody that's pushing the needle forward for the WNBA. Y'all can argue with me all you want to. There's nobody that's pushing the needle forward right now more than her, period. So take her team and then take it up a notch. It's Asia. Sorry.
Here's the conversation, and we're not going to go too far into it. We're not going to go into it. I promise you. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, because the gag is the ratings for the WNBA are still up.
Yep. They actually went up,
and there's someone that's not playing who they attribute to all these ratings going up. You fill in the blank of who that player is. So I just say all that to say, outside the play society, since she's on my mind, it's because of the product that is on display. I'm not going to attribute it to just one player.
Absolutely.
It's the whole product of the WNBA that's making this sport so great. I'll let you go from there.
I'm going to say another name, Paige Bueckers. And what she has accomplished this year, I've been a huge fan of hers from a versatility standpoint, a consistency standpoint, a sportswomanship standpoint. a
Yes.
teammate standpoint, a persona standpoint, she to me is representative of next gen and what the league really needs to continue to elevate. I don't think she gets enough credit. I think that she continues to be in the shadows of Caitlin Clark's success because I think it's difficult for people to somehow understand that you can have more than one white player that's really, really, really good. It's almost like a pick one, which is unfortunate because they're both great players in their own right. Now, do I think Paige has a stronger game? Yeah. I think on both ends of the floor, she's a better player. And I think that people will continue to see that. They already saw it this year, but they'll continue to see it. I also think Caitlin is now challenged with becoming a better player in the offseason, being that she missed most of this season and she has a whole
Yes.
summer to get better. So she's gonna come back with guns a-blazing. She's probably gonna
Oh,
come
for
back
sure.
with some different facets to her game that we haven't seen before, which again helps the league grow. So I'm with you. The overall product, the energy, the passion, and the storylines, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting to know these ladies, and people are falling in love with them. They want to see them play. Stud Buds is going crazy. The fashion, Skylar Diggins is coming through that tunnel looking like a runway model every single night. Every single player is playing her part. If you want to even go down another rabbit hole, you go into the different relationships some of them are having with one another. So
Yes.
it's all these different storylines. It's all these different things that all these women bring to the table that may include the names I just mentioned that make this league great. And I'm hoping that people will come out of that I have to pick this player and it's them against the world and them against the league to wow, this is an amazing league with amazing players that all have something to contribute and I
Yes.
want to watch them. Now you can have your favorite player, but not at the expense of not engaging with and enjoying the entirety of what the league is. That is my issue. Michael Jordan's my GOAT. I love Michael, but I love the NBA. I loved when I was watching Michael play, I loved watching the games, period. So I want us to get out of that type of what's the word? It's not even a fanatic because fanatics still have some form of rationale. It's just irrational. I gotta pick a side type of mantra that super fans air
Yeah.
quotes move with. But I want to applaud every single player in the WNBA for moving through the drama of that with such grace and giving us some incredible, fundamentally sound, exciting, chippy, passionate, and fun basketball.
While we're at it, one of my favorite storylines for the WNBA this year. Shouts out to those Golden State Valkyries.
Yeah, yeah,
2,000 strong, every single home game. Who would have thought?
yeah.
Shouts out to them.
I absolutely am with you, and shout out to the fans as you mentioned. That is no small feat. People love basketball, and it brings people together, and they love the WNBA. There's a way the WNBA brings fans together that no other league in any other sport in the world does, and I think the Valkyries have shown us that, and the Bay Areas has shown us that, and they're like, hey, we'll support the Warriors, and we're gonna support the Valkyries as well. Hell of a season, and for them to come in as an expansion team and do the level of damage they did, I'm excited to see where they land next year. I am so excited. They're coached well. They play hard. They're unabashed and unafraid. And I think it's also an encouragement to the other expansion teams and execs for those teams that are coming in the next few years. Anything's possible. You don't have to come into the league and assume you're not going to be a team to contend with. And so I think they had set a high bar and standard that will continue to resonate as more of these expansion teams come through.
I love it. I love it. While we finish up the WNBA, who do you have winning the championship this season?
It's interesting. I definitely wasn't gonna say this at the top of the season, but it's looking like the Aces to me.
Yes.
I just sense that they're in a place of pace and timing and cohesion and passion and chip on the shoulder
Yes.
that is going to get them to championship glory. And I love Asia, and it's not even about them being my favorite team per se. I just think they just look so seamless right now, and I'm not sure if there's any team that can consistently stop them. I think they're gonna run into some competition, obviously, but when you talk about containing them over time with the way they're playing, I don't see it right now. Now I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but the fun part is it's one hell of a storyline. If they go from where they started to all to the race to hoisting a trophy in the air at the end of the season, where's the documentary?
Cue me up. Because you are in church, you understand this. He didn't bring me this far to leave me now.
Yeah.
Feel that's the thing with Asia Wilson. She's not bringing her this far to just lose. There's something that's in her, and every great has a screw loose, if you will, and I mean that in the best way possible.
Yeah.
That screw is loose right now for Asia, and she is taking no prisoners. She's not taking no for an answer. Whatever she wants right now, she's going to get. So I'm right there with you that Aces will win the championship. I don't see any other team that's even going to match up with them. No. They'll be able to match up with them, but those intangibles that the Aces have right now, I can't see anybody.
I agree. And you talk about one more thing that Asia has been taking is accountability every step of the way. She owned it. She owned the losses, every single loss, even more so than the wins. And I think some people are just divinely assigned. This is her assignment in the earth. This is who she's supposed to be, not just for this team, not just for this league, but for the sport, for women's basketball, for women's sports, for Black girls to grow up and say, I can be that, I can do that. And that's the thing that I really, really enjoy about watching her continue to elevate exponentially. God has his hand on her life in a very special and unique way. And he's literally like shaped her to go through these types of fires and come out unscathed. So I am pulling for her in that respect. I am partial, but it's been interesting to see her take on the load, even when it's not hers, even when she dropped 30 and they lost by 20, she owned it. And I really appreciate that about her as a leader.
As you were saying that this is her time, this is her season, this is what she's called to do, chills, goosebumps, like just took over me because I felt that with so much conviction. And I'm actually going to pivot and say that's the same case for you. I feel like everything does. Yeah, that's what gave me goosebumps. Let me rewind real quick. Women's basketball is so much at a high level. I cannot wait until Unrivaled. Unrivaled had an amazing first season. This second season is going to be absolutely even better. You got more investors. It's valued even more. What are your thoughts on Unrivaled?
I think it's great. And I think it showcases what can happen when players decide to invest in not only their own greatness, but their own survival, their own level of fun, their own financial footprint. I think sometimes we assume that athletes are completely beholden to the entities for which they play. But Unrivaled to me says, yo, there's a problem and here's our solution. And so it's been really cool to watch the solution work, because on the other end of it, there were plenty of people who were critical and who didn't see it working. But when you believe in yourself and your product, you can make others believe. And Unrivaled to me is the total manifestation of making other people believe. These women know they can hoop. They don't need you to tell them that. They just need you to show up. So how do we get you to show up? We push you, we promo it, we put it in an arena that feels intimate. We show our personalities off in ways that we don't even show in the W. We give you something different, almost like this exclusivity that you don't get when we got the orange and white ball. So I think Unrivaled is great. It gives these players the opportunity to stay in the States. I'm not the biggest fan of women playing in the W and then having to go overseas to continue to make a living and be away from their family. So you keep them close to home and they can work on their other business ventures and not from an endurance standpoint and wear and tear on your body standpoint. It's better to be home. Now, if somebody wants to make the choice to go overseas, that's their choice, but it should be a choice, not something you have to do. So I want to get to an Unrivaled game. Actually, that is my goal, to be able to cover Unrivaled. I didn't have an opportunity to do that this past season, but I think it's amazing. And I think it sets precedent for other sports to be able to, other athletes in other sports to say, hey, well, I appreciate the opportunity and I'm still use it, but I'm going to go create some other opportunities over here so we can continue to do the work that we want to do. So I think it's great.
For sure. I had to get that question out because I didn't want to escape Unrivaled. But let me get back to you. Because of the things that you've been able to accomplish over the last couple of years, did you ever see yourself in this role? Like, did you see yourself accomplishing these things?
Like I was telling you earlier, I still feel very behind. I thought I'd be way further at 39, to be honest with you. It's not a complaint, it's just an observation because I wanna add context to my response. So did I see not in this way? And it's funny we talk about Unrivaled and these players seeing a problem and creating a solution, and that's essentially what God led me to do in my own career. I stress this point because a lot of people still don't understand this. I never wanted to be behind the camera. That was never something I wanted to do. I never wanted to be a producer ever. When I went to school and took classes and decided, okay, when I get done playing, I'm going to be in journalism. I'm going to be in television. It was always from the front. It was always front facing. That was always the goal. I I was that was the classes I took, and that was the newscasts I did. I was never behind the camera, not in front. I always had a mic in my hand. I was always talking like I'm doing now. And I got very discouraged early on. I was finishing out my undergrad program, and I sent in a reel to the Big Ten Network, and I thought it was a pretty strong reel. And the feedback was, you're really good, but you talk too fast. And they passed on me. And so again, you have other means to be able to do what you love. I got so discouraged and dejected by that. I really was like, okay, well, I don't feel like I'm ready to go into the workforce right now. I'm gonna go to law school. I thought about law school for a while, or I'm gonna go to grad school. And I ended up going to grad school, went over to Northwestern, and got my master's from the Medill School, which in many respects really helped to not only continue to develop the skills I already had, but it brought me to the fold of developing some new skills that I've still found useful in my career today. But again, very front facing. They taught us how to continue to produce, but again, that's not what I wanted to do. But I was not in a place of faith where I could take what I wanted to do and get arm in arm with God and say, okay, let's go. I wasn't there yet. I was able to do that as an athlete, but outside of athletics, had not developed that muscle yet, unfortunately. And I still beat myself up to this day. My friends tell me don't live in that type of regret. But when I was in grad school, when I was in school, it was very, hey, if you want to be in front of the camera, of course you can. That's great, but you got to start news. I didn't like news. I still don't like news like that. Although I cover it, I don't like it. Um, I never wanted to work something in a field where I there was the potential where I would stop feeling. In the news for me, I was like, I don't want to get so I don't want to get so inundated with tragedy and trauma where I don't feel anymore, where I'm numb to the realities of humanity and pain and so I never wanted to do news. And I said, well, I don't want to do news. And they say, well, yeah, you probably have to do news. You probably have to leave Chicago, move to a small town, do a small market. You won't make much money. And all of that sounded so unattractive to me. I said, I don't want to do that. Like, I just didn't want to. And you got to think, there's a part of me as an athlete that was still very spoiled, that still wanted her way, and that wanted to be near family, and that didn't even want to think about the idea of not being in Chicago, and just small scale thinking in that respect. And so I said, well, I still want to be in front of the camera, but I don't want to do it like this. They said, oh, well, you're great at producing too. You can jump in the industry as a producer and then work your way to the front. You can make more money. You can climb the ladder faster, make more money earlier, and you can probably stay in Chicago. I said, all right, I'm going to do that. And I did that, but I ended up becoming really, really great at it. And so you sign on to produce, you become great at it. That's people's expectation of you. They're not hiring you as Shari, the producer who's also talent. They're hiring you as Shari, the producer. And I found myself in this cycle of, although I had great experiences and worked these great jobs, these great projects, nobody really wanted to see the talent side of me because oftentimes people viewed that as a coming at the expense of me as a producer. Now I knew that wouldn't be the case, but I also had to understand you sign on the dotted line to do a job. You can't expect people, whether they see it in you or not, to say, "Oh, you can do this too." So, I most of my career there was a deep part of me that was discontented. I had some great experiences, obviously, continued to meet great people, did great work, but that wasn't what I wanted to do. My goal was always to get to the front. And when the pandemic happened, there was no scapegoat. I lost my job like everybody else. Sister Circle ended. and I had to figure it out. And the Holy Spirit got with me and was like, yo, nowhere to go. Got to do it yourself. This is your time to figure it out. There's nobody in your way. There's no people that you could even conjure up to make your barriers, which we all do at times. I know I was doing it. Oh, it's their fault. But you find people to blame. And so I started, just a thought with Shari Nycole on a whim and just went on IG Lives and reached back into that Rolodex, all these people I got to know over the years. And whether it's publicists, whether it's celebrities, whether it's management, hey, I'm doing this live. Can they jump on? And everybody said yes. Now, one person told me no. And that kind of helped to build. And then people started looking at it, which I was like, oh, wow, they're watching. And then that led to some other opportunities and me being able to connect with Mino Lion Media. And they had my podcast on their platform for 4 years. And, from there, I got with Essence, which came through, me working and meeting some of the same people over the course of a few years. And the last couple years, no, I did not necessarily envision, like I always knew or at least felt or believed that I was more than capable and that I should be in the front because I have a lot to say. And I knew I had the gift to do it. And I know there's anointing on my life with interviews. I know that God has given me a very unique gift when it comes to interviewing people. But I have to shout out, and it's funny whenever I do this, she's always like, I gotta shout out Stephanie Donovan at Essence because my job title at Essence on paper is a branded video content producer. It has absolutely nothing to do with hosting. It has absolutely nothing to do with sports at all. And I was about a year into being at Essence, and Stephanie was my manager. And she told me something about Black women in sports is doing this banquet. And I'm like, wait, we got a Black women in sports franchise? We got Essence Black women in sports? Can I be a part of it?
Tennis get up. Yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't know anything about it. And why would I? Because it hadn't hit my department. And so Essence is a huge company. There's so many things in different departments and different specialties people have. And so she mentioned the brunch. I said, Steph, I'm a former athlete. I'm a former D1 athlete. I've done some sports journalism. Like I love sports. I would love to volunteer to just be a part of what you guys are doing. She's like, oh, okay, great. I'll let you know when the next banquet rolls around, when the next brunch rolls around. And she did. The next one came around and they gave us a budget and she was like, yeah, you can go ahead and cover it. So I covered that one. And then they sent me to the Final Four one year when South Carolina won. I forgot who they played, but I got to witness that in person. And it just started to become this franchise where I was given more and more opportunities and Steph continued to advocate. And so I thank God for the advocate. I didn't have that. Everywhere I went, I had people that were supportive of Shari as the producer. They advocated for me in that way. And despite the fact that they knew what I could and wanted to do beyond that, as far as talent was concerned, they weren't advocates. She's the only advocate I've ever had in my career that literally said, I don't care what anybody says. This is what you do here. You are the host and the producer for Essence Black Women in Sports. It's not even a position, but that is what you're doing. So I don't care who says otherwise. That is Shari. Essence Black Women in Sports is Shari. And she continued to drill it home. And then on the other side of that, I'm doing the work. So you got to show proof of concept. You can't just tell people, this is who she is, this is what she does, but they can't see it. So while she's advocating and allowing me the space and grace to do this, on the other side, God is pushing me into spaces and allowing me to get this work done and giving me the means by which to do it and connecting me with different vending partners and producing partners that had passion as well. So now they're putting their passion into it. So the work we're putting out is exceptional. So God's working on that side. He's got Steph on this side. And so by the time it was over, I'm in a position where I'm able to, people are coming to me as, hey, what does Shari have to say about this? We got a sponsor coming in that wants to maybe partner with Black women in sports. Hey, Shari, we got to loop Shari in on this. I'm leading the charge with a franchise that I just volunteered for. But I have to acknowledge the blessing was Steph. It was somebody who was totally not intimidated by my versatility, by my dreams or my passions, that actually invited them and said, hey, I want the best for you. I want you to have the best experience at Essence as you possibly can. So if sports is part of that, how can we make that happen for you? I have never, ever, I had one other person that managed me that was kind of there, but to this level, nobody comes close to Steph. So I always, next to God, give her the credit for being that vehicle to help push me into spaces and places that people, although I could do it and she knew, other people didn't know. You can't assume that people know how great you are at something. Like they didn't know, and it's not their fault. But when you put somebody in a space where they can prove, oh yeah, oh wow, it don't take much to make people believe. People are so simple. You show them a couple times, oh, that's a person. That people want to find a person because we're lazy. We don't want to keep going over this person, this person. That's the person. Okay, cool. I'm going to her. So I didn't envision having someone, and I think that's where the trauma of the industry comes into play too. I
Yes.
didn't envision having an advocate, but it was the thing that I needed in this season of my life to get me to this place. Do I still feel like, I should have achieved more now? Do I still feel like, man, I'm behind? Do I still feel like I should have just taken the risk earlier on in my career? Do I still feel like, man, why did I even go to grad school? I didn't have student loan debt. Like it's all these different things. And I think about those things from time to time. But I think Steph in her advocacy has served as God's reminder of his mindfulness of me and that I'm not crazy. Because when you get a lot of no's or people like knowing you can do something but denying you opportunities that they can easily give you, you start to feel like, am I delusional? Can I really do this? Is this really a
Listen,
gift I have, or am I tweaking? So she was God's stamp that no, you're not delusional, you're not crazy. This is what you do and who you are. So when people say, I know, you're trying to be in front, I'm not trying to be talent. I am. I'm not trying to be in front of the camera. I am. I'm not trying to be a media personality. I am. I've always been. You guys are just now catching up. And so it's been nice to watch people catch up. I think on the other side of it, there's insecurities that don't allow me to fully see impact and understand that people actually are paying attention to what I'm doing. Because I think when you get the no right, when you get the no's and you've been traditionally outside of the space that you really want to be in and that you feel you're gifted in, you don't feel like people are paying attention, especially when you're behind the scenes for so long. And so there's little things that people say, even like the kind words that you shared today. And sometimes people will leave me notes on my DMs, or they'll post something, a comment on my page. I'm like, wow, that really meant something. And I was looking at my page the other day, and somebody said in my story, she said, I love her. I love your journey. And it stopped me in my tracks because I was like, I don't know if I love my journey, but I
mm,
should. So it was a
mhm.
reminder, like, it's not always going to feel the best. And just because you're not where you think you should be isn't necessarily, doesn't mean that you're not where you're supposed to be. And so for me, it's an interest. No, I didn't. I know I'm supposed to be here, but how I got here, no, no, and no, and no. But I'm grateful, and I cannot, man. I promise you, when I get super rich, I don't know what Steph is gonna do that I can invest in, but I'm throwing so much money in the pot, it's gonna make her sick because without her, I'm not in this position. Like God used her in a mighty, mighty way, and she's so modest about it. Like if she was on this riverside right now, if she was on this show right now, if she was sitting next to you, she'd be like, she would do that. But man, she changed my life. She changed my life.
When I was 29, I had all these thoughts about I haven't accomplished this by the age of 30. I imagined myself being a whole lot further than where I
Yeah.
was. God spoke to me and said, all right, you're not where you feel like you're supposed to be, but you're right where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I have a future for you.
Mm-hmm.
You can determine what the next 10 years look like. Just follow my steps.
Mm-hmm.
Just lean not into your own understanding,
Mm-hmm.
but acknowledge
Mm-hmm.
me and I will
Yeah.
direct your path.
Yeah.
And since the age of 30, the way that I'm going into my 40s next year, June 28th, I'll be turning 40 next
I
year.
keep forgetting our birthdays are right on top of each other because I'm June
Yes.
22nd. I keep
Yeah.
forgetting.
Yeah. But going into my 40s, I feel a whole lot better than I did when I was going into my 30s. And I want to encourage you and say that the results are worth the process. Granted, you said you felt like you would be much further along. But the crazy thing is, in that statement, you also said that you're much further along than where you thought you would essentially be if it wasn't for Steph. So I hope that you take solace in that. I hope that while you take this time to unplug, make sure you smell your flowers. make sure you're I know you're grateful. I know you're grateful. But just really give yourself a pat on the back, because what you're doing, a whole lot of other people are still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then the funny thing is, I have no media training at all. The only thing I've done in media was in high school. I was a journalist for the school newspaper, but I have a passion for sports. I have a passion for stories. I have an idea of how to build things and create things, and here we are now. I owe a lot of a lot of where I'm at to Natalie, Nat Esquire, she was the producer on Brother.
Yeah.
Me and
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
had a conversation, and she told me, you're talking about being a producer, just produce your own content. And it sounds so easy, and it sounds like something I should have thought of, but sometimes it takes that outside noise, that outside person to say something, and it sparks. So what turned out to be like 30-second, 60-second, 90-second clips has now evolved into now a conversation with other people about their story.
Yeah.
And I'm just thankful for it. I just did an interview with Spencer Paysinger on yesterday. And now I'm having this conversation with you. Between these two conversations, my cup has essentially runneth over at this point, because everything that has been said between those two interviews has been divine, it's been on time, and it's been exactly what I needed. So thank you.
Hey, look, as I put my phone back on Do Not Disturb, I thought I turned it off. I thought I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, Chris. And apparently, let me put this on. This is what happens, y'all, when you do Zooms and concepts. And my little sister is relentless. She literally doesn't know how to leave people alone. She's the youngest and banana. So if I don't answer her call, she'll keep calling me. As she's texting and doing now. But um I want to thank you, and the seeds that you're sowing and what you're doing. There's purpose behind it. You don't do this, some people do this for clicks. They do this for clicks and attention, and you do this because you really do have a heart to not only serve people, but also, to really pour into the gifts God's given you, and the passions and the interests. Like, why not see how far you can take it? There's a real reason. So I thank you for providing this space, and I thank you for not quitting. I thank you for continuing to go forward. It's tough. I tell people this all the time. Like, my show is on ice right now because I'm like, I don't know how I can do this by myself and everything else I'm doing. And I know I owe my best to people, and I can't give them my best right now, but people keep asking for it. So thank you for not stopping. Thank you for not, sometimes the audience doesn't look the way we want it to look. Sometimes we don't have as many clicks as we want, but you keep going. And
Yes.
as you keep going, I'm watching your interviews and the type of guests you're getting, and there's elevation that's happening. And there are so many places along the way where you could have gotten discouraged and said, forget it. But even prior to starting this platform and this show, but you haven't. So I people like yourself keep me inspired and keep me going. And yeah, I'm grateful, but I have moments where gratitude isn't on the priority list, and not on purpose.
For sure.
And so being able to have these types of conversations, again, it's just, we all need jolts here and there. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, we've been trying to do this for months, but I think the timing couldn't be more divine. We were supposed to talk now. And I'm just really, really honored. I mean, you could ask a lot of people to be on your show, Chris. So I'm very honored that you first of all waited for me, and that you asked me, and then you waited for it to happen, and you were patient with my crazy life schedule.
Hey, look, I got a couple of jokes for you. Joke one, this background, I'm still at work. So the thing with me, these interviews going to get off one way or another. Whether I'm at home, whether I'm at work, I'm going to do my interviews, because there's such a passion that I have for more insight. And I want to see these stories come to life. I want to see these stories get told. And that's essentially my purpose. One thing that you may not know about me is that in my younger days, I was a pastor's adjutant. So I was the one carrying the Bible, carrying the briefcase.
That makes sense.
That was me. That was me. So I definitely have a servant's heart. Let's transition.
Okay. I feel like this is going to be a real hard corner we about to turn. Let's transition.
Hey,
should I be nervous?
Nah. It's an inside joke, but you'll get it. This next segment of my show is called 3 on 3.
Lord have mercy.
These are 3
Okay.
questions. These are 3 questions. You
Okay.
give me your top 3 answers.
Okay.
So it's the spinoff of something that we both have in common.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So question number 1.
Okay.
Who are 3 people that you would love to interview that you haven't yet?
Michelle Obama, Oprah, and Michael Jordan.
Well, we're going to put in the atmosphere that all 3 of them will happen.
Boom. Clock it.
There we go. Number 2, give me 3 of your favorite concerts that you've attended.
Ooh. Prince, Essence Fest 2014, I believe. Beyonce, Cowboy Carter just recently, and Gladys Knight. Several years ago, I was probably in the 5th row, and I was in there and I was watching grown men cry. I've never been in an environment like that in my life. It was a beautiful show. That's my top 3.
Gladys Knight is one of the best. I don't even know if she wrote her own music, but she's one of the best ever. Man, because those stories and those songs are absolutely amazing.
Unbelievable.
Well, Gladys, what happened? Are you okay? Do you still need to talk about this?
Look, they posted a clip of her in the rehearsal. I just think maybe she's not in a position to do the interviews and go on the press run with Patty and Shaka and my auntie Stephanie Mills. But I think she'll be ready for the shows.
Her question. I had it. It escaped me. Come back. Give it to me, Jesus. Give it to me, Jesus. Oh, yes. I know you're about to unplug for a few here.
Yeah.
Give me 3 of your shows that you plan to watch or that you love to watch.
Reasonable Doubt is back, and I am extremely
We here.
Excited about it. Probably more excited than any other show. I'm a big Netflix girl. Black and Beauty is back. I heard the people are wilder than ever in this next installation of the season, but I got to check it out. And also, what's funny, I was recently honored at a gala alongside several incredible women, and one was Gail Bean, and we were all like, "Sis, when is P Valley coming back out?" And based on what I'm told, it's gonna be back pretty soon. So when P Valley comes back out, I'm really very much looking forward to seeing the new season. And this is an honorable mention, not a show, but I am excited to check out Ruth and Boaz. I am a huge fan of Devon Franklin's work, and him and Tyler Perry coming together. I'm really excited. I'm going to the screening in a few days, so looking forward to seeing it. But yeah, we got to go. We got a number 1 Reasonable Doubt. And you know what's funny? I might have to binge it because I can't keep waiting a week for an episode. We're not doing.
Can't keep waiting a week.
I'm just gonna binge.
I love Reasonable Doubt. I love that every episode is a Jay-Z song title. I love the acting. I love the writing. I'm so glad.
It's unmatched.
I'm so glad Morris Chestnut character did not get with the main character. I'm mad that I'm forgetting her name right now. But I'm so glad they did not have a situation because that will be too easy. It will be too easy. And to be honest with you, I don't want to see it. I'm going to add a couple more on there for you. My guilty pleasure is watching Love Island.
I don't watch it at all. I'm over the love shows. I know that sounds horrible. I'm over like the Love Islands. I used to watch Married at First Sight religiously. I still like that show, but I haven't watched it recently in about almost a year. And Love is Blind. I used to love Love is Blind, but I just feel like it doesn't feel as authentic as the days of old. So like the love shows, I don't feel them in here no more. I don't feel them in.
Gotcha. Let me add one to the list for you.
Okay.
Have you seen Matlock?
I have not, but I guess I got to check it out. I'll check it out. I trust your judgment.
Kathy Bates is the lead.
I love Kathy Bates. That's
all I got to say.
Enough said.
It's on Paramount. If you need the password, I got you. I'll send you a password. You can log in.
And Bel Air, whenever that comes back out, throw Bel Air in there too for the last season. It's coming out soon.
I want to say it's in November. But I love Bel Air as well. Great show. We'll end out on these couple of questions here. I call this Give Me More. Okay. From this day forward, what do you want more of for Shari Nycole?
Ooh, I hate being asked questions about like, about me like that. Because it makes me have to really come outside of like what I do every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, questions about me are very different than questions about what I do. Let's say, because you have to be careful with this. I want some more
Mhm.
money, shoot. Because I want to go on
There you go.
vacations, more opportunities to like take off and actually go somewhere. Not take time off and still be in my house, but go somewhere. But I would say that, but also more importantly than that, without compromising me being able to make a living and do what I love to do. More romance. I want a husband. I want to be a wife. I want to have a
Put it out there.
family. I want kids. So for me,
Good husband.
a good husband. He not just a husband, and I think that's why I'm not married now. But I think more of an understanding of the work that I need to continue to do to continue to position myself for that desire, which I've had some great conversations about with people in my close circle and even outside of it. So more awareness, more self-awareness, um so that I can create the space of capacity for what I want, for the family that I say I want. So I would say that money, more vacations, more opportunities to travel, and more peace. We talk about being unsettled with like where we are, and I'm not far enough, and there's no peace in that. So I think with and when ambition and contentment make marry, I think the peace that peace would be pretty cool to have in that respect. So yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I want to thank you so much for your time. Can you let the people know where they can find you and keep up with you on your journey?
Yeah, thank you for the time. A few places. I am on Instagram and X at Shari underscore Nycole, SHARI underscore NYCOLE. I also am on YouTube. You can type in Shari Nycole. I'll pop right up. Got some episodes of my podcast, Just a Thought with Shari Nycole on there. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, show some love. You can also follow my website. You can catch me on there, ShariNycole.net. I am on TikTok at Shari Nycole. I'm trying to use it more. I'm one of those old people that don't. I'm not a big TikToker, but I'm
Just takes so
trying.
much
Yes.
time.
And then you can catch me. It takes so much time. And you can catch me on Facebook as well at Shari Nycole Media. That page is public. You can follow that. So lots of places to tap in with me. And then you can check me out on the Willie Moore Jr. Show. It's on Praise 1025 here in Atlanta, but it is nationally syndicated. So you can check those times to see if it's in your city. And we are on air from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. And then you can also check out all the cool work that we're doing with Essence via our YouTube channel and also essence.com. You can also follow Essence on Instagram and X and TikTok.
That's a long resume.
I know it's a lot. So I got overwhelmed, but I just got to make sure that people can see the work and find the fun stuff. So
It's all good. God opens up the doors and all we have to do is walk through them. And you have walked through them. Sharia's being humble, y'all. The biggest flex that she has that she did not say,
what?
just Google her.
What
Just
you
Google her.
mean?
Just Google her.
Not
You can Google. Yeah, you can Google.
I think I've been keeping my nose clean. I think I'm all right.
Well, hey, God is good all the time, and all the time,
God is good, Chris.
there we go. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you all for tuning in to more insight you can trust, because there is more where it came from. Make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe, make sure you do all those things. I tell y'all all the time, we're just trying to grow this community. We're trying to get out good stories. And the only way we can get out these good stories, if you all continue to watch. I'm going to do them anyway, but I still need your help. Thank y'all so much for your time, and we'll see you again.